Good morning. Welcome to another session on environmental impact assessment. So in this session, we'll be seeing the EIA process again. So here we are going to see the EIA process in terms of a flow chart. In the last session, I have given a brief description about each of the phases of the EIA process. So the first phase is the proposal identification. In this stage, the project is being proposed. Then comes the screening. So this is the initial environmental examination where we decide whether the project requires an EIA or does not require an EIA. So having decided that the project requires an EIA, before going to the further stages, we have something called the public involvement, where public is being given awareness about the project that is going to be executed, and they are apprised about the positive as well as negative impacts of the project. Then also um, people can post their queries and questions on the project, and their doubts are clarified at this stage, meaning people's involvement comes into picture. Then comes the scoping. As I said, scoping is defining the boundary in terms of the physical boundary, as well as also identifying the different parameters which are going to get affected. Then comes the impact analysis. So here what they do is they analyze what are the different types of impacts that can have on the environment. Next one is the mitigation stage. Here in this stage what happens is that we propose some mitigation measures of how to reduce the impacts on the environment and how to manage the different types of impacts. Then after this stage, the EA report is prepared based on the previous phases, right? And it is sent for review. So once it is sent for review, the decision-making process takes place, and they decide whether the project should be approved or not approved. If the project is not approved, what they do is they go and redesign the project in terms of you know uh, reducing the impact of the project on the environment, right? So once it is redesigned, meaning they may redesign the process uh, of execution. Assume that they are going to manufacture something, and they may redesign the process of manufacturing such that it is not going to have that much impact on the environment, uh, or they may redesign the methodology of disposal of the waste such that it does not affect the environment, and so on and so forth. So this is the redesigning phase. So it may be redesigning of the process, or it may be redesigning of the method of disposal, or maybe it may be redesigning of the manufacture, or it can be anything. So that is the redesigning phase, and the proposal is being resubmitted for evaluation again, and the same process takes place after resubmission, right? uh, so if it is approved, assuming that the decision making process says that the project can be approved for execution, then it goes for implementation and further follow up, right? Uh, and this uh, gives this information from this process contributes to effective future EIA, right? So, small quiz on whatever you have covered till now. EA process involves the below mentioned step or steps: screening, scoping, impact analysis, and D, all of the above. So, coming to an elaborate description about screening. So, this is the first stage of EAA, right? After the project is being proposed. So, this stage determines whether the project proposal requires an EAA, and if it requires, then the level of assessment required. So screening criteria for determining the level of review required are relatively well defined. So what is that criteria? Number one, scale of investment. Number two, type of development. And number three, location of development. So what they do is they categorize projects into different categories, A, B, and C. Projects in this category, that is category A, typically require an EIA. The potentially significant environmental issues for these projects may lead to changes in land use as well as changes in social, physical, and biological environment. Meaning these the projects which come under this category have a significant and severe impact on the environment. So category B, the only difference between projects in this category and those in A is the scale. The large scale projects fall under category A and medium scale projects fall under category B. Those projects are not located in environmentally sensitive areas, meaning the category B projects are not located in environmentally sensitive areas, and mitigation measures for these projects are more easily prescribed, right? Then coming to category C projects, this is for projects that typically do not require an assessment, environmental assessment. So these projects are unlikely to have an adverse environmental impact. So we really do not require an EIA for category C. So category A projects are all national level projects and category B projects are all state level projects. Category A is appraised by the EIA, that is Impact Assessment Agency, as well as the ESA, that is Expert Appraisal Committee. Category B is appraised by the State Environmental Impact Assessment Agency, as well as State Expert Appraisal Committee. So category A requires mandatory clearance, right? So there is no need of screening because it has to be evaluated. So there's no question of saying that category A does not require EA. So EA is definitely required for category A. Category B, on the other hand, can be subdivided into B1 and B2. So B1 requires EAA and B2 does not require EAA. So screening plays a major role here for category B projects. And category C projects, as we said in the beginning or in the previous slide, category C projects do not require EA because the environmental impact of those projects are minimal. So before we end this session, the projects can be classified as small scale projects, large scale projects, both A and B, and D, none of the above. Thank you. Thus, we come to the end of this session. Thank you for your participation. Looking forward to meeting you in the next session.